Well, good morning, and thank you for coming to the Morning Report. The Morning Report is collection of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We trust that you are well today. Things are great here in West Central Florida. We appreciate everybody being there. It's the draft, NFL draft today. I know some of you don't care, uh, but it's always interesting for me. The draft is being held in the shiny city of Detroit. Don't leave the arena. Anyway, hey, don't be mad at me, Detroit. Y'all know y'all a mess. In any case, Pastor mentioned a phrase on Sunday from from the scripture. I think it's from in Revelations that the reaper will overtake the plowman. And what that means, if I got that right, was that things will start showing up so fast that it'll seem like the person who is reaping the benefit or reaping the curse will overtake the person planting the seeds, plowing the furrow. The things be coming up so quickly that it'll seem like that's happening faster than the person who can plant the seed, and it's starting to happen. Terrorists, see, we are in a great time because, and we saw this during the Trump administration, and we saw it somewhat during the Obama administration, that the truth of things is starting to pop out faster and faster and faster. Now, you remember President Joe Biden's humanitarian Pier, because it's about humanitarian. It's about it's about protecting Gaza. Some terrorists operating in the Gaza Strip launched a series of attacks on Americans building President Joe Biden's humanitarian pier this week. Gazan terrorists fired mortar shells on Wednesday. Yes, that was what had been yesterday, toward the construction workers on the humanitarian pier being built off the coast of Gaza. We've also learned that several pieces of American engineering equipment were damaged in the attacks, in addition to somebody being slightly injured as they were running for their lives. The president announced the construction of the pier being done by the U.S. military during his State of the Union address in March, prompting serious concerns from lawmakers about the U.S. troops' safety. Because there is no fire back, protect yourself, right? Fire back and protect yourself is not within the rules of engagement, right? And the lack of sober threat assessment, as the number of Republican senators wrote Biden on March 28th. Here's part of what they said. Because that's what Republicans do. We write strongly worded letters. We have strong reservations about your directing the United States military to establish a temporary pier on the Gaza coast. While we acknowledge that this decision was taken with the consent of the Israeli government, we are concerned that the mission entails a significant risk to U.S. personnel. We are concerned that the approach fails to address the main causes of the humanitarian crisis. First, this deployment ignores the most basic cause of Gaza's humanitarian crisis, the fact that Hamas ignited the current war on October 7th by murdering 1,200 people, including more than 30 Americans, and taking 240 hostages, including 12 Americans. The conditions for ending the war and ensuing humanitarian challenges are the same today as they were on October 7th. Hamas surrender and return of the approximately 140 remaining hostages, including 6 Americans. Second, based on what has been shared with the Senate Armed Service Committee thus far. The decision appears to ignore force protection issues entirely against the enemy that tries to kill Americans every day. We are gravely concerned that the Department of Defense has given too little consideration to the likelihood that Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and other U.S. designated terrorist organizations operating in Gaza would attempt to attack U.S. personnel that would be deployed to this mission. And that happened yesterday. And it happened yesterday. Hamas is blatantly indifferent to the humanitarian crisis that its October 7th massacre has wrought, and is unlikely to be deterred by any humanitarian nature of the U.S. mission to establish a pier off the coast of Gaza. Gaza doesn't care. I mean, Hamas doesn't care about that stuff. They don't. I'll say it this way. Gaza is. Hamas is hardcore. They just care about what they care about. This idea that we can appeal to their humanity is just BS. They need starving people. They need injured children to be put on TikTok. They need this, even if they have to do it themselves. That's the reality. I don't know when the average American is going to figure it out for themselves, because that's what's happening here. All righty, we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye bye now.